right. Good afternoon, everyone. It seems like we were only here last night, doesn't it?
Seems like that.
This is the September 11th, 2025 meeting of the Expanded Budget Committee of Tompkins County's Budget Capital and Personnel Committee. And we have 5 presentations scheduled for tonight. And unless anybody has any preliminary comments they want to make, I'm going to just go ahead and start with the group. Shauna.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge that we have 3 Ithaca High School seniors here in the audience here. One of them might or might not be my daughter. And we'd like to welcome you to one of our exciting meetings.
Yes, we're very, very pleased to have you here.
Welcome, and they wanted to give they wanted to give speeches?
No.
No? We're just kidding.
Well,
we
they're
not
lucky
only want
because
you
we don't
to
have
feel
privilege of the
welcome,
floor
but
at EBC meetings.
It's the least I could do.
Our first department up is facilities. Burrell Lamaro, our Director of Facilities.
Good afternoon. Let me share my screen. See that? Thank you for the opportunity to share my budget with this committee. The Facilities Department, as far as our purpose, is it provides facilities capital maintenance and cleaning services for our county facilities. And these services include planning, design, code review, construction management, construction administration of both our operations projects and our capital projects. We also do the cleaning, maintenance, repair, and renovation of county-owned buildings. And these are the 17 buildings that we're responsible for maintaining. The newest additions, which won't be around very long, will be the last 3 on the right. Former KeyBank building, the professional building. Well, the Cherry Street will be around for a little longer since we're using it for Code Blue this coming season. Our full-time equivalents this year are 33, going up by 1 next year. And that's 1 new position, which I'll mention here shortly. That's just our organizational chart. The upper portion is really the capital side, which is myself and project manager. And I wanted to announce that the deputy that I've had vacant for a year and a month will be starting on Monday.
Oh, good.
His name is Libin Babu. He comes from SUNY Broome as the Assistant Director of Facilities there. So their loss, our gain. He's a strong candidate, mechanical engineer, and is very experienced. He's probably, over the 30 years I've worked here, the strongest deputy that I've interviewed. I've had probably, I think, 11 deputies over all that time. So he will hit the ground running, and so this will be great.
Could you say his name again, please?
Libin, L-I-B-I-N, Babu, originally from India. So we actually will have a multicultural management team. I'm from Peru, born there, and came to the United States when I was young. Christian, our project manager, is from Romania, and Libin is from India. And this wasn't by design. It just happened that the candidates are from various
Well, that's
countries.
terrific.
Yes. So that's our organizational chart. As I said, the upper portion is really the capital engineering portion. The lower portion is our operations, maintenance, and cleaning. Challenges ahead, no different than years past, is really allocating the limited resources that we have in the most effective and efficient manner to maintain the growing footprint that we have as a county with our buildings. And the center of government building will be probably 3.5 years from now. Will be a great addition to the facilities that we maintain. And the other challenge is really increased PM or preventive maintenance efforts as opposed to being overcome by unplanned and emergency maintenance efforts, which is a challenge. It seems like we're always being reactive than proactive. And that's one of the reasons for the newer enhancement requests that we have. Maintenance of effort, so we have three that maintenance of effort were, it's a little confusing with the new way we're doing things. So maintenance of effort, these are ones where we're asking for additional money to continue the current maintenance of effort. Project manager, some of you may recall when we introduced that 2.5 years ago, it was to fund this project manager 2, and it was for multi-year. This 2026 will be the third year of that multi-year request, and we're asking that that be made a permanent target request. Then service contracts and building repairs, both of those were cut 2 years ago, and we had hoped that it would have been restored for the 2025 budget, and it wasn't. And so we're asking that both under service contracts and building repairs, the kind of the original funds be restored. And so here you see those maintenance of effort details. The first one being the project manager. Next year will be the third year of that original OTR enhancement. And so that amount is both regular pay and fringes, which is supported by county administration. The second one, service contracts, making that targets to restoring 40,000 from what was cut, which was also supported by county administration. And then the last one, building repairs, which was cut by 30,000 and restoring that funding. I would say we could not take that money if we reduce the number of buildings we have, but we're going in the wrong direction. We're actually increasing the number of buildings we have. And that's just further explanation of the project manager. It's the third year of what was originally multi-year. And with the moving forward, the center of government, phase 2 of green facilities, it's ongoing this year. Emergency shelter work that I can't get away from. It just seems it's following me. And also in the future, the public safety building project. Those are all projects that would require having a project manager on board. And then the last part is just a professional position involved in capital activities as well as supporting our operations projects. And then these are the newer enhancement projects, the details. So the first one is the maintenance worker position. So that would be a new position that we're requesting to be added. And that is because we are increasing really the number of buildings that we have, and talking with county administration. 3.5 years from now, we'll be moving into a new center of government. So it's more square footage, and so we want to gradually gear up to that. But right now, we're heavily involved in a lot of the preparations for swing space, emergency shelters, and all of that. And we've actually had to hire 2 seasonals this summer just to keep up with the work. So this would be a request for a target increase for one position of maintenance worker. That's the lowest level in our organizational chart, would be a maintenance worker. The second one is management salary increases, which is part of the recruitment. We had to increase the starting salary for that position because we weren't able to attract candidates. And so that represents part of that.
Excuse me, Arel, is that for your deputy that you just hired?
Deputy and my position, because that would move the deputy into my labor grade. That the deputy currently position was at 1 labor grade below me. So if we increase that labor grade, that would have to, and I had submitted a reclass.
So it's wage compression.
Correct.
Okay,
but I had
thank you.
submitted a reclass actually last December when Lisa was here, for the more responsibilities that I've had for several years, and so it was just time to move that forward.
Thank you.
And then the number 3 is computer equipment. We're looking at upgrading our work order system that's over 20 years old. It's been bought out 4 times by different companies, and it's not the same system that we originally bought. And we're not getting support, basically, for that system. The county has OpenGov, and Highway is using that. So we're looking at going to OpenGov And so also going to using tablets instead of paper. We're generating a lot of paper work orders, which duplicates efforts. It's printed, it goes to the maintenance worker, they do the work, make notes, bring it back to the shopkeeper, then has to enter it into the computer. So we're looking at tablets, which is typically what the industry uses now, so that work orders come directly to whoever needs to do the work. They take care of it or put part requests, and then if it's completed, it goes right back. And then it also notifies the department that the work is complete. So we had requested 10 tablets, but then county administration reminded me that those are funded by ITS. And hopefully ITS isn't here, but so that's going to come out of their budget, not their operating budget, but their capital budget. So it's supported, but not through my budget. The next one is departmental equipment. It's a tractor. The one we have is over 10 years old. It's the tractor that's used to plow the sidewalks in the city complex. And we're looking at replacing it. We wanted to do it this year, but we couldn't afford to, so we're doing it next year. So the purchase is recommended that it comes through, I think, bonding that the county is looking at doing for highway machinery rather than do it at one time out of general fund. And I think if there are questions, Norma can help answer that, but it is supported, but it's not coming out of, I guess, our budget directly. The next one is computer software. So that's what in moving over to OpenGov, we would work with consultant OpenGov to migrate all of the data that we have in our current system instead of re-inputting, it's a lot of data, into OpenGov. So that's what that 5,000 would reflect. And the last one are just minor reductions that I didn't request, but they're just reducing it. I can absorb $650, but that's basically, the books are for code. The new code is coming out either late this year or early next year, so we have to purchase the new New York State building code, so that's for that. And we don't buy books every year, so it's every time a new code comes out, we buy either books or the electronic version. And then legal advertising, you wouldn't see a consistent trend year to year because it's only when you do large capital projects that you're doing legal advertising. So next year, we're going to be doing more advertising as we move forward with our Center of Government project. As I said, if you restore it or not, it's not going to break my budget. So, and then any questions that the Expanded Budget Committee may have for me?
Let's start with Randy.
Thanks. The tractor, what area would it cover?
Covers the city, so it would do the library, it would do the human services building, it would be the new Center of Government when it's...
All the buildings downtown?
Not all of them. We wouldn't go out to like solid waste.
Randy, can you use your microphone, please?
Or public works.
Microphone, please.
Yeah, so it would be really the downtown core as far as human services building, human services annex, the library, the whole health on Green Street, this court complex.
So do the snow removal and salting and those kinds of things?
Correct. Yeah, we would have a spreader on the back.
The city does a very poor job of this park over here. It's quite often they're not cleared and whatnot. Seems to me there's be some synergy there. I mean, you're right here. For some reason, they're not doing it.
Yeah.
So just a thought.
I know. We feel the same way with the city because they basically lift the blade when they go around the library. And so they used to years ago. So yeah, we'll do it if they're willing to help us do it too.
Right.
Because if they lift their blade,
if they would, pay. Yeah. Right. The service contracts. So which service contracts were eliminated and what's coming back in?
So, well, basically, even though it was reduced, we still have to pay for them. So we would pull from our building repairs line. We'd move money around from other lines. And that's why I'm saying we can't, that's not sustainable for us. So I mean, the building or service contracts such as all our, waste removal, recycling through Casella, elevator service maintenance, fire alarm system maintenance, all our security call centers. So all the alarms through either security, fire alarm go through a call center, so we're paying for that. Then it's smaller degree, some of our HVAC systems, our controls more sophisticated. We have service contracts for those.
So it includes like elevators as well, those types of
Oh, yeah,
things?
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, elevator service and maintenance, generator service and maintenance. We do all the PM work, but they do their annual testing of that. Sometimes we bring in sort of code review beyond what I would review. We bring in consultants for doing code reviews. But the major ones are the ones that I've listed.
How do you look at your budget? Do you have somebody internally within your department that looks at your monthly expenses and your budgets and to see if you're over or under? How do you manage that?
That's me. So that's me. I prepare the budget. I do the monthly tracking of the budget, and I defend the budget. The deputy would be somebody that I would want to be heavily involved in that, especially on the operations side. But I've done it for 30 years. I like being heavily involved because I can defend it and I can prepare the numbers. So yeah, that would be me. And so I set up years ago through ITS where I seasonalize it, where basically I know where I should be at a certain point in time and I can put it in my system. It's not something that's available to most departments. I could put it in and it'll tell me what it was last year and I can monitor if I'm either ahead or behind where I should be expenditures by line item.
So do you look at your budget and say, hey, I'm going to be under this year or over, or
Yes.
Or you just, okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to be over or under this year?
I'm going to be right on.
That was a trick question. All right, that's it for now.
Amanda?
Thank you very much. I just had a question about fuel, which I imagine you use a lot of. So on the consolidated budget page 165, there's a category vehicles, fuel, and maintenance. But that is different than under account 1620, automotive fuel. It's a totally different number, and it's more than the consolidated budget. I don't know, I just was wondering how they line up. And also, it looks like year to date for 2025, like you've used a small amount of fuel. I don't know, just wondering if you can talk about fuel.
I'm trying to find the page there you're on. So the fuel line should just be for automotive fuel, which is all our vehicles and some of our mowers. That comes to us from highway, so they bill us for our fuel. Okay. And that's also part of the interdepartmental, so we basically put under revenue, they're getting money from us, and then they're billing us. And so that should be about $20,000 is what I had budgeted.
Okay, so I get that. So then on the consolidated budget, vehicles, fuel, and maintenance, it's 10,000 requested for this year. Does that somehow outside of what highway is billing you?
Yeah, so well, they bill us as well. And so that's for automotive maintenance repairs is 10,000. So our vehicles are serviced by the highway department as well.
Okay.
When they bill us, they send us one bill, but they do break their bill down between fuel and repairs. So that 10,000 is for repairs.
Okay.
Now, I know that when Carol did his presentation about the reductions in, I guess, vehicles, so we were told, 3-4 years ago that when that was instituted, the fleet management and fleets going through that department, that the turnover would be, I think, no more than 4 years, I think. So our repair costs are going up because now we've got the older vehicles and they're being repaired by the highway department.
Okay, great, thanks.
Randy again.
At a recent meeting, we talked about all the longer-term repairs or fixes to various buildings. And you talked about not having enough funds for that. Where is that in the budget? Where
It's
you're
not, so that's under the capital,
Okay.
which we talked about last, was
Right.
that Wednesday or
So-
something?
So on that, do you have for every building,
Mm-hmm.
do you have kind of a list of all those potential high-cost things?
Yes.
With the life expectancy of them, and when do you think they'll need to be fixed and repaired? And
Yes, actually I have linked spreadsheets, probably 6 or so, where I do that. The frustrating part, Randy, and that's what I said at the capital review, is that you have a service life or a design life of systems, and then it says you're supposed to replace it, let's say 2026. I don't get the funding, so then I have to push it 2027. I already have a whole bunch of projects there. So I know that F&I, it's on the agenda for next week. So I will be presenting kind of my spreadsheet that I use to develop kind of that capital funding. Well, what's been approved, and I know many legislators asked to look at this and increase it, was $700,000. I think next year is like 2.8 million. The year after, I think it's 3.4 million. So that is a ever-changing spreadsheet, because when I'm not getting the funding, I'm having to push it back and then make decisions. What's more important, a roof or windows or fire alarm system? And I also have categories. So life safety and building deterioration are always top priorities. Anything that is aesthetic, painting, carpeting is the lowest priority, and everything else is in between goes as, priorities probably 3 through 8, let's say. So I group it in categories so I can present at next F&I by those categories, and you'll see kind of overall where those major expenses are. And most of them are actually in roofing, because that's a big ticket item. Like we've had proposals for the vehicle garage since COVID, 1.2 million. So that's definitely 1.4 million. I just have a hard time approving that, and I think highways here. I mean, if I have to approve or decide between a building that's occupied and vehicles, I'm always going to go to the building. But we want to get that done, and I can't. I mean, 700,000, there's no way I can even get that. But if I did that, that would kill my capital funding for any projects by doing just one roofing project. Parking lots are another one. Human Services building is terrible. I want to do that. That's about $700,000 between that and Public Works facility. So those are the high ticket items, are paving or parking lot paving and roof replacements. We've done elevator
That's
modernization.
all the detail right now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up. If you could, at the F&I, when you present it, keep it simple.
Okay.
Right, so don't, and just, I'd like to see what you expect, at least in the next 5 years. These have to be done.
Yeah.
And my
I've got-
thought process is that maybe we should be doing some type of bonding to do all these repairs. Maybe not. So I just want to think about that.
Yes, and we've done it in the past. I talked to Norma about that earlier in the week and last week. We used to do it, we bonded. We would bond those projects back when Rick was here. Lately, we've been doing it just in a general fund, paying it cash. So, no, I'm open either way.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Norma?
That's what I was, we're waiting for that same report from Aurel to have that list of what needs to be repaired and when. As soon as we get that, because that's something, of course, I had asked for a while when we did our review. But I've been working with finance and talking about what we can do to leverage that 700,000. And so we're looking at probably being able to leverage $4 or $5 million worth of projects out of a $700,000 payment. So we have to identify exactly what they are and what the life expectancy would be of those projects to determine really how much we can leverage. Okay? Yep.
Thank you.
I had a couple questions. One, for the benefit of particularly the new folks that might be coming on, Aurel, would you explain why we're not subject for our buildings to the code enforcement of, say, the city or a village or something like that, and why you are the code enforcement officer for the county?
Sure. So by New York state law, the municipalities, state government, even the SUNYs are exempt from local code review and control, but they have to have their own code enforcement officers. So, gosh, 25 years ago, I went through all the training for code enforcement officer, and then you have to recertify every year. So training 24 hours. So I'm actually going next month for my training 24 hours. And so then we're the authority having jurisdiction over all county-owned buildings. And so that's why I always encourage us, buy the building if you want us to do major work. And that's why for the Burger King site, we don't own it. We're subject to the municipality, regardless of whether the building is for our use, because we're leasing it, we don't own it. Unlike the Cherry Street project that I've spent every day working on this week, I let Norma know, and Corsa, where we can move much faster. Yeah, I mean, that's really the reason. And another important thing is that I'm also the code enforcement officer for TC3. Back, I think, 6 years ago, even though they had a director of facilities there, he did not have the authority to issue building permits for their childcare facility. And so the state, it was a contractor reported TC3, the state got involved, and I do not like when the state gets involved because then they pay more attention to us. But then they said that, I had to, and I didn't know they were doing the project, and so I had to review their project and issue a permit and then do all the inspections, and that went very well, actually. But any project that's not funded by their foundation falls under our jurisdiction.
Could you stop sharing your screen, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And the other question I have is, I've asked it before, with all the new buildings coming on and the construction projects and everything, how is your department doing as far as staffing? Are you able to handle the increased load?
Well, that's why this request includes one position for a maintenance worker. I've indicated 2 months ago we had to hire 2 seasonals to help with the workload because we're just not keeping up. And so my apologies to those departments that are viewing this, and that's why they may not be top priority for some of those work orders. We have to really prioritize. Some of those are coming through. So in discussions that I've had with county administration, I mean, the plan is to ramp up so when we open the center of government, which is we're adding much more square footage to the county's portfolio, that we will have enough staffing to maintain that. Also, the addition with the deputy that's starting Monday, he'll be a great help because I've been really straddling both the operations side and the capital side. And the capital is just a lot of work that's going on right now between, Code Blue, swing space preparations, and then the center of government. It's taken a lot of my time.
Thank you. Other questions? I guess not. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to point out that our county administrator, Corsa Akumfi, has joined us on the screen virtually, and this is his budget that's being recommended to us that we're talking about, and he would be here if circumstances were a little different, but he will be joining us for later meetings. Next up, I like that term Dan likes to use, next up, is the Veterans Services and Memorial Celebrations line. And we have J.R. Claiborne, our Veterans Services officer. Welcome.
Good evening. Hello. Very weird to see yourself on the computer looking at that. everybody.
Hello.
Say, wow, I thought, is it after lunch? Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi.
Okay, it's not 6 o'clock yet. Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to present my budget for the year. I do want to take time first to acknowledge today as the 24th anniversary of the September 11 attacks. This is a day of tragedy, the attack on our country, and it is something that initiated a period of war that we still remain in today. So a lot of people that you see who are coming out of the military are coming back as considered as wartime or veterans of war. And on that note, I also want to make sure, just for the sake of clarity here, veterans and military, people who served prior. Try to use that interchangeably, but I like to say that because a lot of people, actually, if you've ever heard Commissioner DeCohen, who's the Commissioner for New York State Department of Veteran Services, she always says that you want to make sure that we talk about prior service, because she's gone to things where people ask, like, she'll ask everybody who's a veteran, hold their hand up. And it'll be like half the room holds their hand up. And she said, everyone who has served in the military, please hold your hand up. And then twice the number of hands go up. So just in case, little news you can use that just because someone didn't serve in a time of war or something like that, if they wore the uniform, they are a veteran. And so for all practical purposes, my department services anyone who fits that boat.
JR, thanks for mentioning about the today being September 11th. And we did have a discussion a little bit about it this morning in Budget, Capital, and Personnel Committee. It's a pretty important day.
It is. And that would have been the time that everything took place, how many years ago? So, yes. To kick things off here, my department, I celebrated 6 years this month. No, I'm sorry, 6 years in August. So this has gone very fast for me. I don't know about you. I think most of you were here at the time. Most of you. So, but as you know, this was, the department was established to connect our military connected community with eligible benefits on federal, state, and local resources. The department currently operates with 3 staff, 3 FTEs, and we serve a population of 3,500 plus. This does not include others in our military connected communities, such as our active military members, our reservists, and their families. Our staff do this by deploying services through a combination of advocacy, consultation, programming, and referral in adherence to the laws and regulations of the local, state, and federal levels. I also want to note that for local benefits, one of the things that we get to do when people come in to our office is tell them there are things that are available through county government, such as the property tax exemption. People who are veterans who are service-connected, who served during a time of war, and who served in a combat theater, get it said right. They all count for different veteran tax exemptions, so they always like that when they hear that, and we can send them over to assessment to do the paperwork for them. We also have through the county clerk's office, we have the ability for veterans to store their military records, primarily their discharge documents. And that's something that COVID taught us is very important, because during that time, during COVID, a lot of people came to our office looking for either theirs or their loved ones' discharge papers, because they didn't have them anywhere. And at that time, the National Archives was shut down. And they had a backlog that took them almost a year to clear out. And you find out that not only can you not get service-connected benefits through the VA, you also can't retire if you're trying to claim military retirement as part of your retirement. You can't get a VA home loan and anything else that's connected with the VA. So I like to send everybody that we can over to the VA's office, to the county clerk's office. And we also, one of the things we do is if we do the ordering of their military records, then with the veterans' permission, we will send it over to the clerk's office themselves, so they'll put it on file. And that way it's in 2 places for them. They also run the Return to Favor program, which we also like to refer people to, and that's simply when you put your DD-214, which is a discharge document, on file with the clerk's office, they invite you to apply for the Return to Favor program, And with that, they take your picture, they put it on an ID, so now the person has a government-issued ID, and anywhere that offers veteran discounts or something else for proof of your veteran status, instead of taking out your driver's license or carrying your discharge documents, you can take out this government-issued ID from our county clerk's office. And so that's a lot of those, that and the DMV, getting your veteran status on your license. Those are probably the things that we refer people to the most when they come to our office. And then also through another perk through the county is veterans who come to work for the county can get points, extra points on their civil service test. And for a lot of people, that is a big boon by itself. And then lastly, through Tompkins County Workforce, veterans get headline privileges. So if you served in the military, go to the Workforce New York, you want to help with resume, interview skills, to know what jobs are available out there. If there's a line in front of you, you let them know you're a veteran, and somebody comes out the back and takes you and helps take care of you. Additionally, another source of referrals that we get through the county, that we refer people to, we get people from DSS and Office for the Aging and COFA, primarily through DSS. And a lot of times it's just trying to help people who are really, they may be in a bad way and they just need that extra help, that extra boost. So we try to make sure that we can verify their veteran status and then see how we can connect them or let DSS know that there's nothing that can happen for them right now. And so that DSS can then step in and do what they need to do for them. So for FTEs, as you see, we are not asking for anyone. I'm good with my 3, but I won't promise I won't come back next year. A snapshot of our budget. As you see, our budget is comprised of financial support from our local share, which is, as you see, 58%. From New York State, we receive 34% through the Joseph P. Dwyer Peer Support Grant, and that's administered through the Office of Mental Health, and also through the Department of Veteran Services, and that's 8% of our budget. Anticipated increases this year were absorbed by our county administrator. That's in the recommended budget. But just in case, those are things that are a couple of subscription services that we have that those prices are going up. And also just by having an extra person in our office, our phones are ringing more, there's more demands that are going on, and also his position is being supported by the grant, so there are some other activities and things that he's going to be expected to help out with and manage. And before I say that, and I just want to take a moment to say, I've come to you a couple of times before during budget to say that I'm still looking, but fortunately this year, actually he started right after Memorial Day. We hired our first dedicated VSO, a veteran service officer. His name is Ignacio Lopez, and he is a U.S. Marine veteran, as well as a recent graduate of Cornell. And he has brought a whole level of energy into the office, as well as a knowledge of veterans resources up at Cornell. He worked a lot with veterans things, part of the Cornell undergraduate veterans, as well as the Veteran Service Club, and a few other things happen at Cornell. So it's really a great symmetry that we have having him in addition to our office. Okay. And Randy, I think you'll like this one. While we cannot by law bill for our services, we do help generate tax-free revenue that comes into our county's veterans. So these are things that come into their pockets, tax-free. And this is just a graphic I put together, and it shows tried to do a regional comparison. So the first line being New York State. Tompkins put us on top because we're Tompkins. And the rest of our surrounding counties here. And at the bottom, just Cuba Lake region, just totaling everything that we have here. The middle 4 columns are money. And actually, you can put an extra 3 zeros after that. That's what the footnote shows there. And the immediate left and right columns are individual people. So right now our population is estimated at 3193. As you mentioned, I mentioned earlier, I said 3,500. We always try to round up some because there are a lot of veterans who are not in the VA system. And those are a lot of folks that we actually encounter from time to time as well. But just like to show you that that is something that we do help contribute with. This is something that's a collaborative effort through primarily with our office, but also there are people who do their own filing. There are also claims that take a while to like 2, 3, 4 years to actually get decided. So this says 2023, that is the last year that information is available. And so I can say that this office has definitely contributed to those numbers. For maintenance of effort, I actually don't have any, except to say that I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who was involved in getting our first Tompkins County Department of Veteran Services headquarters. So it's pretty fun to say TCDVS HQ. And as you see, which I thought was pretty fortuitous, this was the mural that was put on the building in honor of everything that happened through COVID and the county's commitment to helping weather that storm. And the face that you see here primarily is Ms. Millie Clark Maynard, and she is actually a veteran spouse. Her husband is an Air Force veteran, so kind of worked for us in all great ways. While no new enhancements, that missed something, excuse me. Yep, all right, there we go. While no enhancements this year, our budget does reflect cost reductions that will impact our printing projects and our purchase of office supplies. The first one is probably more important than the second one because that's primarily in our printing of our brochures and other departmental literature. But being in the military, being in the Navy, you learn how to make do with what you have, and you keep going. So if I do need something, I won't promise I'll be back, but we're going to do the best with what we have. Also, one of the cuts that I had to make myself was to our program expense, and primarily what I can foresee is that heavier reliance on the Dwyer grant. One of the things that's been a fortune by having the Dwyer grant is we're able to leverage county funds with the state funds through the Dwyer grant to be able to put on activities, hold activities, help veterans out in different ways that may not be something that the county would necessarily let us do, but the Dwyer grant is pretty open as long as we're in support of our veterans. So that is a great thing to be able to put the two together and leverage the funds in that way. Oh, okay. And I just explained that. So those are our new details for the reductions. And like I said, these are things that our county administrator, with him and his team with their scalpel went through, and I thought I had made enough reductions, but he found more. So I'll go with that. And then lastly, I know it's part of this conversation, but I just wanted to put this up here about the memorial celebrations. As many of you know, this is through this fund, through the celebrations, I purchased the flags for the different veteran service organizations that put the flags out at the different cemeteries across the county at veterans' graves. So this is something that our community is very thankful for this support. It's something that when I started this job, I really never paid attention that much to the flags. But when I see them now, and you see them year round, it's just a moment of pride to know that I had some part to do with that. But even more importantly, I represent a county that says that this is important to us. And that is all for me. Thank you very much, and I will take questions.
I think I saw Travis' hand first, then Shauna.
John, thanks for the thorough presentation. I do have a question for you. With all the running around you do, places you got to be, you still don't have a vehicle, right, for your department? Can you still access Dwyer funds to purchase a vehicle?
That's a complicated question, but the short of it is potentially. It won't be solely that. I would have to have a county support in doing that, but there would be able to get some seed money with that, I believe.
All right, thank you.
A list of things that you have to do to substantiate to show that the county would be able to support the purchase.
All right, thank you.
Shauna?
Thank you. I started before we had a Veteran Services office, and I can honestly say this, I'm very happy that we established your office. It was one of our priorities, and we had heard from our community that we needed it. So I'm glad that you're here. I guess the question I have is, prior to the office opening, we were also hearing that our veterans were having a really hard time obtaining medical care and that they were going to Syracuse. Can you tell me, I know that they opened the new Veterans Clinic off of Triphammer. Are a lot of people going to that?
Yes, and actually It serves not only our county, it serves, it overlaps into, well, it serves our county in Cortland, but it overlaps into some of the just beyond the borders of other counties too.
Okay.
I believe it's a 3 to 4 county radius that they cover.
Okay.
Because the next ones to us, there's one in Binghamton, Elmira, and then Bath. You'd have to go to Bath for the next ones.
Okay.
Being in the VA system, a veteran can go anywhere once they're in.
Sure.
But we are headquartered or we're zoned under Syracuse.
Okay.
So anyone who goes through the clinic here, for anything that the clinic can't provide, they'll send them to Syracuse. But I do know that a lot of veterans in the south and western edges of the county, they have the option to go to Bath as well.
Okay. And then my second question is around mental health care for veterans. Can you tell me if there has been any type of relief on providing better mental health care for people that have served our country?
Yes, and that there were some things eased up a while back to allow veterans better access to mental health care as well as other care. That was done primarily through the PACT Act, which passed in 2022. That was the main purpose of that, was to allow veterans, particularly those who have been in the recent wars, both the Gulf War and the first part of Desert Storm, to be able to access mental health care, because that has been recognized as a very big issue. So yes, that is something. And you remind me too, I want to say that one of the things that we also are able to do is we can help enroll. We'll do the applications and submit applications for VA health care for veterans who come to us who haven't enrolled already.
Thank you.
Randy Brown.
Yeah, thanks, JR. Thanks for the data and the information on the financial impact. Appreciate that. And I have noticed, get emails and more outreach going to veterans. I think that's great. It's noticed, so I just wanted to share that. And I have a few friends that have gone to the clinic up at Trip Hammer, and they've had good experiences there. And also there's communication directly with Syracuse, and they can actually do doctor visits kind of in a private area and remotely, so it's, I think it's a good thing. I'm looking at your revenue, and I see your revenue is projected at $129,000 this year, but don't see any funds have come in yet. Is that something that comes in later in time, or?
Yeah, it comes in quarterly now.
Okay.
But it comes in through from the state to mental health, and then they all pass it down to me.
Okay. And I see the state aid veterans services, is that federal money that passes through the state?
I wish. No, that is what comes from the state. It's $25,000 through the AIM program, or assistance to municipalities. It's something that I have to spend twice as much in order to get that level back. But that is what that's the max that we're eligible for here.
So we get no direct federal aid? Okay,
No.
Isn't that weird? I mean, they're federal veterans. Yeah, isn't that weird? All right, thank you.
There is a legislation that has been around, I think it's been at least since I've started this job, so at least 6 years, that hasn't quite made the floor yet, but it's supposed to, the bottom line of it is it's supposed to try and help get money sent to the states, which can then send it to the counties. But it is still somewhere between Congress and Senate.
Good luck with that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cross fingers.
JR, thank you for mentioning the flags that the county purchases and has for the cemeteries. I believe that many cemeteries, the scouts in the area help put them up and take them down, in addition to others that help do that. And I just would recommend to anybody, go out on Memorial Day to a local cemetery and watch the grave flags in the wind, and it's very, very moving.
And on that note, the VFW is our local coordinator for that, and they're always looking for volunteers. So if anyone who would like to volunteer, if you live near a cemetery or you have some other direct connection for one, or you just want to help out something in your jurisdictions, they would definitely welcome the help. Or if you want to bring in other people with them, they'll definitely welcome that.
See, you got to make a plug here. Any other questions for JR? JR, thank you for your presentation. It was very clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Oh, and please keep an eye out on your emails next month, somewhere between October and November. We're hoping to have a celebration, open house to celebrate our first anniversary in the TCDVS HQ. So you'll see it. Thank you.
Shall we go to highway and highway machinery? We have Nick Ensign and Kevin McGuire and Allison Heslop. Nick is our interim highway director.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I don't have quite as much experience as Arel at this, so I have to bring a team with me to make sure I can keep me straight. But and the bar has been set very high with the last two presentations. They're very good, so we'll try our hand at this. We did our introduction. This is the main budget team, amongst other things, but this time of year, this is pretty much full-time budget staff currently. We'd like to start our presentation with a quick visit back to the capital topic from last week. Most of the questions rightly focused on how it'll all be paid for, but we wanted to make sure you had a little background on a couple of our requests to consider. Technical difficulty.
Sorry.
We're patient.
Glad the other departments could pave the way for you guys to present.
There we go. Looks like we're ready.
Yeah.
One more. So here is, this is a list. This chart illustrates the age and description of the equipment planned for replacement. You'll see that many of these pieces are at least 20 years old or older. This is the replacement plan that directly drives the capital request dollar amounts that we bring to you.
Could you go back just a minute? I didn't get quite through all of them. Or not?
So there's quite a variety of equipment there, the oldest one being 31 years old, and the most recent would be 8 years old. And
We can provide a list for those.
What's that?
We can send them a list of those.
Yes, this is part of putting it in here, so when we share it, everyone will have it. The next slide. So this one is on our capital. This is a graph for showing our past 5 years. Well, past 3 and 2 moving forward. The blue lines on this graph reflect the amount of funding needed to keep us on our machine.
Nick, we need you a little closer to the mic, please.
So the blue lines on this graph
Thank you.
reflect the amount of funding needed to keep us on our machinery replacement schedule. The red lines represent the actual funding received or recommended. We've also shown the use of ARPA funding that came in late 2024 that replaced a couple of our older pieces of equipment. This is the background for our 2026 machinery replacement request, which is intended to get us back on schedule. The next graph is for our capital road maintenance. And this does go back a lot farther than 2020, but with our time restraints, that was our quickest year to start with and move forward from there. As you can see from this slide, going back to 2020, our requests have always been fully funded, and I would like to thank the legislature and county administration for that. This capital program is used to fund large-scale paving projects as well as bridge maintenance and culvert replacements. Without this level of funding, we will be patching our potholes instead of paving our roads. So now that we got that out of the way, we'll go to the operating budget that we're all here for. County Highways Division maintains approximately 302 center lane miles of road, 109 bridges, and more than 4,600 signs and counting, and so many culverts we can't even count. The mission of the Highway Division is to provide highway and bridge construction maintenance, emergency services safely, effectively, and efficiently for our local and traveling public. This one is kind of a jump. This would be highway machinery, which we consider our highway shop. The highway shop supports the Highway Division by servicing, maintaining, providing fuel, repairing vehicles and equipment used to maintain county roads and bridges. Our shop is a key part of our operation. They maintain all of our vehicles and equipment, which help us to maintain a high level of service. The shop also maintains the rest of the county vehicle fleet, ranging from whole house electric vehicles to the sheriff's patrol fleet, all the way up to the airport's large fire and rescue vehicles. Our FTE reports, nothing new this year. Everything is the same. Our roster in both divisions is not growing. Full budget snapshot. Largely, our budget is a maintenance of effort budget with multiple pressures from inflation, supply chain challenges, weather impacts that locally so far we've done well, but who knows with that one. Deferred maintenance, roads, bridges, equipment, bridge red flags, those seem to pop up with our bridge inspections from the DOT. And our shop revenues are declining while our equipment maintenance costs are increasing. Here's our maintenance of effort detail for the Highway Division. Some pretty minor stuff, some contract subscriptions. Those represent a portion of the inflationary increases across a variety of contracts. That number is a little on the low side because we've already absorbed quite a bunch, quite a bit throughout our budget. This is just kind of the balance. Electric service increases for traffic control devices and streetlights. Let's see, 2024, we were $6,673. Currently, year to date, we are $8,258. So that projection is to where we're kind of headed with our NICEAG bills. The asset management software is OpenGov, which Arel had talked about a little bit. We're a couple years ahead of him on that process. And the full price for that is $57,500. So last year, it's been kind of a step program to get us to fully operational. Last year, we had a 30,000 OTR that was approved, and this year we're looking for the additional 27.5 to make that program fully operational. Well, it is fully operational currently. That just keeps us going. We're definitely seeing the benefits from that program, and I think all of you will as we move forward because it can produce some really good real-time numbers, graphs. There's a lot of information there. Everything is in there that we do. And we had to do that because our prior system stopped meeting our needs and, was aging out and couldn't be supported by ITS. The insurance increase, that is for our underground fuel tank storage facility that is at our highway barn. Increase in highway materials, that's chips. We had a chips funding increase this year, so we did a budget adjustment, and we are budgeting the same amount for next year, which hopefully there's actually an increase, but we don't know till April or May when the state budget passes. This one is for, what is this one? This is an extension of what we were just going, just wouldn't all fit. The drug and alcohol testing is for all of our CDL drivers. There's an increase there. The Frost Solutions, that is for some weather monitoring cameras that we have. We actually have 4. 2 of them are weather stations and cameras that actually predict the weather. Well, they're as accurate as what you watch on TV, I guess. Some days good, some days bad, but we use it more for, those ones actually have road temperature sensors, air temperature, there's a lot to it, and they're live. We have them on computer, we have them on phones. Those 2 are a little more expensive than the additional 2 that are just cameras, so we currently have 4. We kind of got into this with the towns. And currently, we have the town of Lansing that's kind of in it with us. They have 5, and the town of Groton has 2. And we set it up from the beginning. Whoever got into it, we all share our cameras so we can kind of see what's going on across the county. And they're all in very particular geographical locations for snow and ice in the winter. This next slide, this would be our highway machinery, also known as our shop. This one is for some service contracts. That's really multiple service contracts. They include our main air compressor. It's a maintenance and service plan that airs up our whole 5 bays of our shop. And then there's increases across a wide range of, including, but not limited to, fleet management software, diagnostic software for keeping all these computer-driven vehicles going, our vehicle lift inspections, and there's multiples. There's even, but a lot of those have all gone up, 3 to 5%. But they're all based. All these contracts are aimed at safety and efficiency. Okay, on to enhancements. Item number 1 is an advanced training in our asset management system for 2 staff members to go to OpenGov's 2026 annual conference in Chicago. This will offer both training and valuable networking with other local government users of this complex and powerful tool. Item 2 and 3 are promotions intended to give 2 of our employees that are working at levels above their current wage grade, each a one grade increase. And that is fiscal coordinator and currently engineer technician 3. And the last 2 lines are recommended cuts from county administration to help manage countywide budget priorities. And that's it. Any questions?
Dan Klein.
What was that town services, that last one? What does that mean?
So town services, that is our snow and ice contracts with 6 towns.
So what does it mean to reduce them? What are the implications of that?
Well, that is definitely based on Mother Nature. A few of those accounts are time and materials, so if it doesn't snow, we don't pay them. The rest of them are all contracted, and those are known numbers.
So what happens if we have a bad weather year?
So if we had a bad weather year, then we'll be transferring some monies around in the spring to keep things moving forward.
Thank you.
Amanda Champion.
All right, thank you. Hi.
Hi.
I actually have a number of questions, so I warned Kevin ahead of time.
We have a number of spreadsheets.
All right, great. Okay, so looking at the consolidated budget, page 178. So you've got an other category and an other supplies category. I know departments have this. It's good for us to know what that is. They're both, $3 to $4 million. So I'm just wondering if you could say what's in those categories.
Yeah, I'll let Kevin take over, but when you said that number, you're definitely talking about the highway side and not the machinery side, I'm sure,
Yes, yeah.
or shop. Go ahead, Kevin.
So I anticipated that that would stick out like a sore thumb. And it's an interesting, I think there's a double-edged sword of the new budget system, is it allows, my impression from watching the budget staff use it, is that it allows them a great deal of power in terms of juxtaposing things that ordinarily wouldn't be displayed together. And it looks like it defaulted back to putting the payment to us from the interfund unit called, contribution to the D fund. That's where the general fund provides revenue into the D fund. And it looks like that line is pumped up by over 3 million. If you look at the bottom of the sheet, Amanda, where you see that 3,484,119 in the bottom corner, the bottom right corner, that's the amount that is the net local cost in a unit called 9522, contribution to the DM fund. And it, I had seen it displayed like this once before, and it just seems to have defaulted back there. It's not really part of our budget. It's how the county general fund supports the highway fund. Okay. The other large one you asked about, other supplies, that's where our highway materials line is.
Okay.
And that's a big line.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
I think so. Yeah, I have a couple other questions, things that just stuck out to me. So in account 5010, County Road Admin, for many years there was nothing under telephone, and suddenly there's $17,000 for a telephone.
I can speak to that one. So that line was in our shop budget.
Okay.
And that is a mix between our cell phones and our GPS tracking. So we have GPS tracking in all the vehicles, all the dump trucks, pickups, and some of the equipment.
Okay, so that's moved over from...
We moved it into this side because the other one, we just couldn't sustain it there. And this is more of a highway operational cost than it is a shop cost.
Gotcha. Okay. On the overtime question, I see that, that has been reduced by county administration. I guess I'm just wondering, I mean, it's still a pretty high amount. I guess.
Is that page 181?
Yeah, page 181 towards the top, overtime pay. I guess I'm just, obviously there's, always going to be a situation where somebody might have to stay overtime, but that still seems like a lot. And I mean, what are the situations where someone would not be able to end their shift and go home?
Generally, the biggest part of that is in the winter, is coming in early, staying late, coming in on weekends, holidays. There's a little bit in the summer, depending on the size of the project, and we'll work late, a little bit. And then it's, summertime would be storms. Floods or storms generate some of that, but
so if somebody's responding to
trees down,
okay.
Flooding roads, multiple different, some of it's
blocked culverts, maybe.
Blocked culverts.
Somebody ran over a stop sign. There's lots of calls that we do take, and some of this is handled by the supervisors, and then when it turns into larger scale, it's more people.
Okay, all right.
A lot of it is generated in the winter.
Right, gotcha.
75% probably.
Okay, and then on the On the revenue side of that same account, which is on page 182, under permits, it looks like this year to date, you're already significantly higher than what was budgeted. I was just wondering what caused more revenue in permits this year?
Some of that would be local projects, like they come in and they're going to put in fiber or, different things, different utilities, gas lines, different things. The other part of that is we're getting better and better at not so much enforcing, but seeing what's going on out there. And when, we have driveway culverts and we have multiple different permits, we see somebody working, we stop, we talk to them. We're also kind of throwing around the idea of adjusting some of those permit fees for next year to try to help a little bit on the revenue side. But a lot of it it's based on what's going on.
Okay. And then this might be a question for Norma, but it's significantly higher than budgeted. So where does that money go if there's more than planned?
Yeah, if it's unspent, it goes into the defund.
Okay.
So it'll sit in a fund balance.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I got.
You're welcome.
We have Randy, and then we have Ann.
So the defund is the fund balance specifically for highway?
Yes.
Could you share by email, just let us know what the balance is in that account? At some later point, doesn't have to be right now.
Yeah, so it was, some of it was used last year to cover road maintenance program, so there's not a lot in there, but there is I think it's an 18%. So it's the regular percentage that we would keep for that highway fund.
So 19% of their expenses for the year?
That's something like, yeah, we'll get it to you though, sure.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking at your, thanks for being on the hot seat. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Looking at revenue and looking at your CHIPS revenue, and is CHIPS all state-funded monies?
It's not completely. There's federal that goes into the state and then comes through.
So I see your estimated budget for this year, next year, are the same, which was $4,562,000. But you said you received more than your budget, and how often do you get reimbursed for that?
I'll speak on the reimbursements, and Kevin can speak on the actual numbers because he has those right there, I'm sure. So it's 4 quarters, and generally we never hit the first quarter just because it's early and we're usually doing a lot of chip seal, preventive maintenance. Those ones they're not really worth chasing because there are multiple roads and the stack of paperwork is 3 foot tall to turn in to get those. But generally then the second and the third quarter, like we did the second quarter, that was, I don't remember what that was, $1 million something we got on that one, and our third and fourth will complete it out. The fourth that one is late. That one's like after the first of the year.
How quickly does the state pay you?
That might be a Darryl question, but I'm thinking like month, maybe. I don't know if they're quite that quick. I mean, we get the letters that say you should be receiving, but it doesn't come to us, so we never receive. So it goes to finance.
I don't think it's much longer than a month. I can look to see the actual time frame, but the payment of those funds isn't anything that delayed past normal.
Just curious. How do you manage your budget? Do you have somebody internally that reconciles your budget every month to say what your expenses and income were? Is that something you reconcile yourself, or is it all something you put into the county's system?
We do it internally. It's a multiple with, it's the 3 of us plus Trish that's not here tonight. We have registers that we, track everything in. It's some pretty large spreadsheets that are pretty accurate.
And are you within budget this year, you think, or over, under?
Well, we'll be right on.
Right? That's a standard
As long as
answer.
our spreadsheets are good, we're going to be right on.
Okay.
You know, there's a few lines that are uncontrollable. Fuel, we're starting to, that could get close. We might have to transfer some stuff around for fuel, but the majority, I'd say we're looking pretty good.
I see Kevin. Did you want to say something?
I was just going to comment on Nick's skill at putting the brakes on spending at just the right time. We try to keep Nick informed on a very regular basis. We meet monthly, but we communicate often about the balance of the key accounts that fund paving projects and things like that. And if you looked at it as a percentage, he doesn't leave much on the table, but he doesn't go over either. And it's uncanny. I often walk away from his office chuckling in December or January.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
We go to, oh, yes, go ahead, Darrell.
I verified the last CHIPS request took approximately a month.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to Ann Corman and then Mike Sigler.
Thank you for the report. My questions that I had were answered by the detailed questions other folks had. So I just want to say this is my last budget meeting with you folks. So thank you very much for making sure that our highways, culverts, and bridges are well maintained and safe.
You're welcome. We have a very good team that does that.
Mike?
My question was just about the Frost Solutions. Is that the name of the company that does the cameras?
Yes.
Okay. And is that something that comes out for bid every number of years, or is that something that wasn't biddable?
It's not really biddable, but it is there's becoming more and more out there. This was one that we actually saw at a conference a couple years ago and then started to check into it. And the more we checked into it, we're like, this makes sense. And myself and Groton and Lansing kind of went with it, and we've added more. Mikey added some more last year, and I intend to probably add 2 more of just the cameras because it saves time and wear and tear and gas. When it's snowing out, we can watch those cameras, and they're in spots that it might snow for 4 hours, but it never sticks.
No, I understand.
And watch the road temps, and
I know a local company that does that. That's why I'm asking, basically. So
we'd be interested to talk to them for sure.
All right, thanks.
They're a yearly contract.
Very good. Thanks.
Nick, I had one, or Norman, did you want to say something?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Nick, I had one question. You said there are 109 bridges. I was thinking that we had 106. Have we added 3?
I will have to check into that. The bridge, that's what we have.
I may be wrong, but that number sticks in my head over the years.
Well, there's possibly, I mean, at some of the box culverts, once you replace one of those.
Become a bridge.
Yep. Once you're over the span.
That would make sense. Lee, did you want to speak?
Just climate change, Mike.
We'll leave it at that. Anyone else? All right, we appreciate the 3 of you. Now, I understand we're going to do weights and measures next, and you folks are going to stay up there while we talk with our weights and measure director, Heather Chappell. And so, Heather, I see you're on the screen, and
I am.
We're glad to have you here.
Thank you, and I apologize for not being there in person. I've been feeling under the weather and didn't feel like sharing my germs this week.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for protecting us.
No, you're welcome. All right. So, all right. So as he said, I'm Heather Chappell with the Weights and Measures Department. This is my 2026 budget presentation. The departmental purpose is basically the mission of Weights and Measures is to uphold the relevant state and agriculture and markets laws that protect and serve consumers as well as business owners. This is done through my annual inspections of testing and certifying all commercially used weighing and measuring devices. Devices not in compliance are either ordered out of service for repair or condemned. I also inspect packaged commodities for accurate weight, measure, or numerical count, and respond to the complaints and questions of the constituents. It is a fees-based department, and they're used to offset the cost of operating the program. In New York State, the Weights and Measures Department is state mandated. I am currently the only one in the department, and I don't really foresee needing anyone in the foreseeable future to join me. The budget snapshot, as far as the impact of the budget adjustments, I was fortunate that when I took over the Weights and Measures Department, I was provided a new truck. I have a brand new prover that allows for safer fuel tests. I'm currently in the process of purchasing another piece of safety equipment this year for the prover that will add another level of safety protection as well. Therefore, I do not anticipate any big expenses in 2026. And this is just the changes that have been made to my current budget. And that's really it.
Was that your last slide?
Yeah, that was, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's pretty short and sweet. It's not all the bells and whistles that everyone else had, but it's a pretty small department. And if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
It's a small department, but you do a big job.
Well, thank you.
Take Deborah Dawson, her question.
Yeah, so, hi, Heather, thank you for being here. I noticed this $15,000 reduction in your program expense. How do you anticipate that's going to affect you?
Well, actually, when I had started, this is my second year, and I've had funds that I have not used for 2 years, so I kind of knew I was opening myself to those being taken. I haven't had to spend them because I have had such good equipment. So I am pretty well set for a year or two. So it makes sense that the money be taken and spent somewhere else.
So this won't hurt you?
Somewhere else.
This won't hurt you?
No, not really.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Randy Brown.
Yes, hi, Heather. I'm looking at your revenues and inspection fees. Could you explain what are inspection fees? And I see your revenue seems behind this year, and what's your thoughts on that?
So this year I thought I would do my inspections a little differently, which I really don't think worked out very well. So I do plan on coming in within budget. I have 23,000 was a number that was in the previous 2 years before I took over. So I just used that as my numbers, and I haven't come to that. Last year I was short, and this year I should come in. I went through and added up all my fees that I have for the remainder of the year, and it comes up at 19,800. So I have to figure out, I don't know if there were more fines and penalties applied in the previous predecessor or what, but based on the establishments that I have and the fees that I charge, it should come just under 20,000. So that's something I'm planning on looking at hopefully in the next couple months to really get a good grasp of.
Great, thank you.
Shauna.
Yep.
I guess my question is if you are coming up with 19,000 for this year, the goal of 23,000 of revenue for inspection fees for next year would be an increase of what, 20% or so? Is that doable?
Well, that's just something that I started to really look into once we started going through the budget process again, where I couldn't figure out why I wasn't coming up with 23,000. I know there's been loss of establishments. I've had some new establishments, so it's just a matter of getting that all figured out.
I'm just wondering if we should possibly have that as even with this year. If that would make sense. I don't want to assume that we're going to collect more revenue for next year than we are this year.
Randy?
Heather, this probably isn't you, but who is going into cannabis shops and doing measuring of those things? Is that a state?
We go into the dispensaries, we can go in and do package checking. They don't like it when we come in and cut the packages open to weigh them, but we can do because everything comes in already bagged and prepackaged, we can check the packaging requirements for New York State. We do have cannabis cultivators, and I've gone to a couple of those, and we just measure their scales, or I inspect their scales. But that's the extent of what New York State is allowing us to do at the moment.
And when you do that, do you charge them inspection fees, or how do you get your fees?
Yeah, so New York State has set up a fee chart. So it's $20 per every, like your basic scale that you would find in delis or restaurants. And then they go up accordingly, like for the platform scales and propane scales.
Interesting job you have. Thank you.
It is. It's a lot of fun, actually.
Lee Shurtleff.
This might be more a question for Nick, but 2 years ago, I was concerned about the capacity in that division or office, and we were looking seriously at adding some capacity. And then one of the upshots of folding it into highway was that it allowed for some administrative and operational support when needed. Has that worked out, and is it taxed you at all, Nick, or are we doing all right with one individual?
I mean, I think we're good. Heather, is not afraid to raise her hand if she needs help. Our office staff and Kevin, helps with the budget, and Trish and Allison and Kelly, if anything's needed, she helps. We ran a seasonal a year ago with Heather.
Yeah, in January, last January.
Right, we ran a seasonal for a little while, and, it helped on certain days, and then we would absorb that person back into the highway side when she didn't need the extra help. And, we have capacity, but Heather does a lot of it by herself. For sure.
Well, it's good to hear. There was some concern that we may have to invest a bit more, and it looks like you've come up with a creative way of being able to manage the workload there.
I think so far. I mean, like I said, Heather does a lot by herself and is not afraid to ask if something comes up, but that ask is very, very limited.
Thanks.
Amanda?
Sure, thank you. Thanks, Heather. Just a couple questions. I mean, they're small numbers, but just kind of thinking about this. So on the weights and measures, page 296, one is the automotive fuel again. I mean, it's recommended $300. It just seems like that can't possibly be enough fuel for all the driving around you must do.
No, that actually, so my main fuel is paid for by the highway. The $300 that shows in there is for, I joined the New York State Petroleum Quality Sampling Program, and I get reimbursed for my time, my fuel, the mileage, and a percentage of fringe benefits by participating. So that's where that $300 comes from, because I have to pay for the fuel up front.
Gotcha, so that's separate.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then my other question, a little farther up, the line for telephone, which again, like just an explanation, like so far year to date $46, but we're budgeting $1,700 for next year. And then computer equipment, so far year to date this year $27, and we're budgeting $500. I mean, it just
right. And so
this year, yeah.
the phone, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
The phone falls under the same, the highway department pays for the phone. So I'm not real sure what the $47 would be, unless it's for like the landline.
So why are we budgeting?
So yeah, so I guess my question, anyone who wants to answer, why are we budgeting $1,700 for a telephone for Weights and Measures?
I would defer to my budget guru, Kevin.
Is it a chargeback that comes later in the year?
I actually don't know the answer to that one. It's possible that was an artifact of the Weights and Measures director having a work cell phone. That's not the case now, is it, Heather?
No, actually, that's paid through the highway now. So I think that might have just been an oversight on my part that I didn't really.
Okay.
I must have overlooked that line.
Sounds like we could reallocate that.
Yeah, and then the same with computer equipment, $500. I mean, do you have some sort of equipment plan that you're going to be purchasing for that amount?
No, and that might have also been from the previous director. I know there was a mobile office that was being utilized. I don't use that. Everything is digital now, but I do everything on my Surface tablet. So again, that might have just been an oversight that I can reallocate that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Ann?
Thank you. Heather, thank you for your presentation. For the fee, Randy had already asked about the fee that for the inspections. So that sounds like that's set. You have a schedule and that's set by New York State?
Yes, I do have a fee schedule. I can send it if everyone would like. I can email that out. Yeah, it's just something the state provides us, the New York State Weights and Measures.
And you have to do your own billing, or is it somebody else in the highway department?
No, I do all the billing and collecting of the fees.
And are you able to keep up on your billing and also the schedule of testing and sampling and everything that involved in the inspections?
Yep, yeah, it works out pretty well.
Okay, I'm wondering for some things that the county or other municipalities do, we can charge a fee that is actually equivalent to having the person do it, but it sounds like what you're doing, the fees don't cover all of your expenses.
No.
Okay. Could be something we ask the state about
Norma
at some
has
point.
a comment.
I just wanted to share that there are, certainly not about the state's fees, but that the fee schedule that you're asking about is either on beginning on page 371 of the paper book, or it's in the index under schedule of fees under section 6.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Kevin?
I wanted to offer, with Heather's consent, to share a little bit about of the data that she and I used when reviewing the revenues that were used in the budget, if that's something Heather would like me to support this conversation with.
As long as it makes me look good.
Well said.
If you'll stop sharing, I'll start sharing.
Okay. Well,
Never even met her.
how do I unshare?
It shows up as a little red button somewhere near the screen share
There you go.
thing.
The one that says stop share.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
The chart there at the top is annual revenue collection, fees collection in the weights and measures over time. So when we looked back at the history here in 19 and 20, COVID years, the revenues came in. I should specify that the orange line, the print is small, the orange line is the annual revenue and the budget is the blue line. You can see the budget's been relatively flat, but revenues used to exceed the budget even during COVID. With the transition in staffing for the office taking place somewhere in here, I believe. Is my cursor? Yeah. And then Heather starting in 23 or 24, Heather?
September of 23.
So we looked at this and we saw if you put a trend line on Heather's time in office, it's going right up. If you put a trend line back here, it's level. It was during this transition that things really dropped off when the work wasn't being done. So we felt as we analyzed this, and Heather said, you know, I'm going to have a full year and I know the terrain better now. So we felt like a $23,000 estimate was supported based on this history. And I just wanted you, since the revenue had become a question, I wanted to share that.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
Sure. Thank you.
Norma?
So, yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, so that one, well, Heather wasn't here, I was answering the phone, so you really didn't want me going out and doing the work she does. The budget team also just sent me a message and said the last 5 year, the average of the 5 years for the telephone was 1,000, which is why it didn't get changed, and the average for the computer equipment over the last 5 years was 1,746. But if Heather's saying those are things that she's not going to need now, great, but that was the reason why they weren't adjusted.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, Heather. I know last year you told us that the state had changed its rules and they weren't requiring the checking of the timing devices anymore.
Right.
And, but I wonder, are there things out there that if we had more staff, for example, that we could be doing? Your office is our only consumer protection agency, really, in the county. And I know there's checking the gas pumps and checking the prices in the stores and things. But are there things that we could be doing if you had more time, let's say?
Not necessarily. I know in the winter months it's a lot slower, so I would have more time. You mean as far as the timing devices?
No, time about any other consumer protection things that the state has the weights and measure people do, say, in other counties.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think it's just a matter of me getting in a good rhythm and, yeah, basically just that.
Okay.
Oh, because over the winter months, when it's a little slower, I can do more of the price accuracy and the complaints. And I mean, I do the complaints year round, but no, I think I'm fine right now. I know they have talked about inspecting the electric vehicle charging units. New York State is currently training New York State weights and measures inspectors. They may branch out to the municipalities as well. And if that happens, there may be a possibility for another person. But that's 26 or 27.
All right, out in the future there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for responding to my question.
No problem.
Anyone else for Heather? Heather, thank you very much for your presentation tonight. Very clear. And thanks for the highway folks for staying and
yes, thank you very much.
Answering some questions as well to help.
All right, thank you.
Well, we're about 15 minutes behind. We're doing pretty good tonight. Next up is our district attorney, Matt Van Houten.
I'm going to have Kevin McGuire give my presentation.
You can keep him here if you want. Welcome tonight, and whenever you're ready.
Great, thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mike. I will try to catch us up, but no promises.
No, we've been going over, the last 2 times we went over a whole hour.
All right, well, we'll see where it goes.
Don't take that as a challenge.
Most of the time when you give a lawyer the platform, you are stuck listening to them, but I'll try not to be that guy. So I think everybody knows what the DA's office does and who we are. Nationally, I think we have a reputation as a leader in terms of progressive prosecution, emphasizing alternatives to incarceration, emphasizing keeping the jail population low while keeping the community safe by balancing, zealously prosecuting violent felonies and high-level charges while being compassionate and trauma-informed when it relates to crimes that are based on substance abuse, mental health, things like that. The point of that is that it takes more time and more effort for us to participate in alternatives to incarceration and to follow up on treatment teams and continue to be part of the court system when it involves alternatives to incarceration. So, I mean, I guess we can go to the next slide. These may not be in complete great order, but FTEs, there is a change going into 2026 that I can explain in the following page. If you want to go to the next slide. Thanks, Samantha. This year, one of the new asks is a victim advocate position. That would be the additional 0.9. I think we differ in how we calculated the number of FTEs. I calculate 9 attorneys as 9, the 4 administrative staff as 4, and then 3 part-time investigators. They are 30 hours, 27 hours, and 24 hours a week. I count that as 2, if you do the math. And then I have a data analyst, and the hope is to have a victim advocate to be that 17th person in the office. That is going to be primarily grant-based. We applied for and received a grant from the Office of Victim Services in New York State that would pay $72,000 a year towards a victim advocate position for 3 years. That covers the salary. It does not cover the fringes, so the additional cost that is in the budget would be $40,223 for the fringes associated with that position. I can talk more about the victim advocate position. That is something that has been a deficit in our office, in our community, that I think it falls on the attorneys to be the victim advocate. And we are already spread thin. As I mentioned, it takes more time to participate in the alternatives to incarceration than it does participate in a traditional prosecution model. So it falls on the attorneys to be on the phone with victims, to be talking to them about when court is and restitution and orders of protection and things like that. And this is a grant that will help us bridge that gap, have someone who is employed full-time in the DA's office, and their primary and sole responsibility will be to communicate with victims to make sure they know what's happening with the case, to advocate for them, to inform them, and to help us do the best job that we can in serving their needs. So that was a grant that was available. We identified that need last year and immediately sought this grant. So that's something that we hope to have approved as a new measure. Just going to the next slide. Our budget is 98%, give or take, personnel-based, and we're doing more with less. We I talked about this last year, and I'll bring it up again. It hasn't changed. Of the 62 counties in New York State, only 5 counties have fewer prosecutors per capita than we do in Tompkins County. If we were to go by the national standards for how many attorneys, how many prosecutors per 10,000 residents, we would have 12 attorneys in the office, which is 3 more than we have now. So I'm not asking for more attorneys. We've been actually operating with a deficit. We weren't full staffed for a long time. We've now come out of that drought. We have 2 brand new attorneys just out of law school. They're just licensed in January. They are hopefully going to be with us for a long time. They know very little at this point. They're little birds that we've kicked out of the nest and into city court to learn, and we're mentoring them and helping them. That takes time, but we're also teaching them how to do things the right way. Both of them came from a background in public service, and that's something that almost everyone in my office has. They've been a defense attorney, they have worked for legal aid, and so that's something I'm proud of that helps us really think from both perspectives to understand the human element of the cases that we have to evaluate and use our discretion in. So we're happy that we're fully staffed. We have 9 attorneys, including myself. We all have a full caseload, including myself. So I'm trying cases and doing everything that I'm asking my attorneys to do, and being there as an example for them. The last bullet point on this is that we have had a long relationship with the New York State Prosecutors Training Institute. They have provided us with some software that we use for a case management system. It's free, but it has limitations, and one of the limitations is that it involved getting body-worn camera video from Axon, which is the monopoly on body-worn camera in the country. Axon decided last year they were not going to do that for free anymore. Given that change and the additional benefit that it would give us in terms of functions and ability to do more, we are going to, I hope, sign a contract with Axon to use them for our digital case management service going into 2026. That's actually a number. It's $33,000 per year for the next 5 years. If we sign a 5-year contract with them, it will result in, I think, a $20,000 a year savings over doing it a la carte. But we're kind of over a barrel. We have to do it because if we can't provide the body camera to defense attorneys, our cases will be dismissed. We will not be able to prosecute any cases. So that's clearly something that we have no choice about, but it will actually help us do a better job. We'll be able to do more. The functionality of the Axon system, it has translation services. We don't have, it does transcripts of body camera. It allows us to import video evidence from other sources, Ring doorbell camera, things like that we've never been able to do in a streamlined fashion. So we have to do it, but it's going to be an improvement. So, and we have to evolve with that. That's the last bullet point on this page. So if we can go to the next slide. I just talked about the Axon. It's called Premier Digital Evidence Management. That is a cost that will be, I think, paid through or covered as a result of the aid to prosecution grant that we anticipate. We don't know the exact number. Last I checked with DCJS, they had not sent out the grant letters to any of the counties in New York State. It was in the final process, but At the DA Association meeting in January, the DCJS Deputy Commissioner presented, and he said, expect it to be higher than in the past. The governor is committed to giving more public safety-related grants. Last year, it was $207,800. If it is more, that would just be rolled into the rest of the budget. I anticipate it will be more. We also have the Discovery Grant from DCJS that covers the additional costs that we have had to add to our budget since 2020 when the Discovery reform came out. That's the third investigator, the third part-time investigator, and one full-time paralegal. Those costs, I document them, put them back into the Discovery Grant, and those are reimbursed. That's $248,000, including expenses that the Sheriff's Office incurs and probation. So we do that grant jointly every year. And that may be more. Again, it has not come out this year, but I anticipate it coming out and being more. I wanted to talk about the centralized arraignment cap part participation. That was something we talked about last year, a source of contention. We have been doing it at half the rate that the assigned counsel attorneys get to show up and do the exact same thing. We've been doing it since January, and there has been a significant benefit to the community as a result of our participation. The attorneys from my office going to that cap arraignment. It happens twice a day. It's at 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. So if someone's arrested at midnight, for example, it used to be that the police had to call the town judge from Danby Court and say, okay, we've got a case. Meet us at the Danby courthouse. The Danby judge would call the defense attorney. They would try to get everybody. They might call somebody on the phone from my office, and everybody would convene. It would take several hours to make that happen, and in the meantime, the police would have to sit with that person, and they would not be on the road patrolling and keeping the community safe. And with the limited number of police officers on the road, that was a significant problem for our county, so we decided to switch to the cap where if that person's arrested at midnight, they go to the public safety building. They're kept in a separate place away from the inmates who are there, the individuals who are there for sentences or pretrial, and they wait until 8 a.m. At 8 a.m., everybody knows there's a list of a judge who's supposed to be there. They know ahead of time. It's scheduled a month out. There's a defense attorney scheduled, and my office is now there. So the person waits a few hours to get everybody together, but now we've got all the stakeholders in a room. And when my attorneys go to that, they then fill out a data sheet that comes to me, and we keep track of that for purposes of paying them the stipend that they've earned by going on Christmas or whatever day it is on the weekend. They go every day that there is a case. But they also keep track of data. Who was a judge? Who was a defense attorney? Was the defense attorney on time? We often are in the position of wrangling people to get there when stakeholders are not there to make this happen. And a number that I've asked them to keep track of, and they have done this, is how many jail days did we save by being there and by recommending something that might not have happened if we weren't there. We have a different lens. We can look at the case and see, okay, this is a weak case. It may be legally sufficient, but we wouldn't prosecute it at this level. Or if we know the person has to be remanded to jail, but we would not want them to stay there because of the circumstances. There are a lot of procedural things that would cause a judge to have no discretion about that. We can take steps to minimize the number of jail days that person, or eliminate in some cases the number of jail days that person will spend. And we all know that's a significant impact. So one jail night could cause somebody to miss work, lose their job. all kinds of bad things. Based on the data form that my attorneys have given to me to date, we have saved 172 jail days. So that's intangibly a benefit that cannot be measured to the families of Tompkins County and this community. Tangibly, at $253 a day that it costs us to incarcerate someone, that's $43,516. So the hope as we look at this year's budget is that we can support my attorneys being paid the same amount, the $350 stipend that the defense attorneys get for showing up. And that's in the budget, and the way it's broken down, it shows that there's $29,000. This is 2 pages from now, but we can skip the next slide to go to new detail. One more, please. That 29,629, that makes up the balance of what would be needed to pay the attorneys in my office $350 to get the same stipend as the defense attorneys who are showing up. So the new detail on this page is the 2 things. Everything else is maintenance of effort. The victim advocate, which I noted, the $72,000 grant, and the rest is supported by the county administrator's office, as well as the balance of what would be needed to cover the cap arraignments for my attorneys. And then there's the reduction for the less printing costs than we apparently have been using over the years. So I'm happy to take questions. I know that in looking at the line items, I think the budget software compared to the finance software shifts things around, and I think I figured out those discrepancies if anybody wants to talk about them, but they are not unaccounted for.
Okay, thank you, Matt. We have questions? Travis.
So Matt, the 29 really wouldn't be 29 because there's the possible savings in the jail stays, right?
Well, I don't think that anybody counts it that way. I mean, I can say that we've saved the county $45,000 at this point.
But there's the possibility.
Oh, we'll continue to keep track of those jail days that we've saved, and that does have a benefit to the county. It doesn't go back into my budget. It just benefits the county.
And the 112, 72 of that is from a grant?
72 is from the grant.
Okay.
The other part of it is the fringes.
All right, thank you.
We would house that person in my office. We would pay for everything else that they need out of our regular operating budget.
Were you done, Travis? Yeah. Okay. Then let's go to Randy.
Yes, thank you. So if a assigned counsel is sent up to the corrections office, they get a $350 stipend?
Yes.
I thought it was $158 an hour or something.
That's on top of that. That's separate from that.
And who determines that?
So what happens if somebody gets arrested, right? There is an arraignment at, let's say it's 8 p.m. We need a defense attorney there. The defense attorney who is scheduled to be there will show up, and they will participate in the arraignment, and they get $350. They may not keep that case. Somebody else might be assigned to it. So they don't bill $158 an hour. They just get a flat fee of $350.
What if there's 3 cases? Is it still $350 just for?
$350 for the appearance.
So if there's 3 appearances, they get $350 twice?
No, they show up once. The appearance is, I'm here.
Okay,
I get $350.
So it could be more than one client?
Yes, absolutely. And so, just looking at our numbers, so far, we've had 303 cases to date, and that's in 216 appearances. So it doesn't mean every single day there would be an 8 a.m. and an 8 p.m. arraignment. Sometimes the attorneys, I'll come in the morning and the person who was on call at 8 a.m. will come in and say, no caps today. This is how they supplement their income. They're trying to pay off their student loans through this extra little income. But yes.
Thank you for that. I'm also looking at your budget for this year, and under program expense, you have a budget of $106,000, but you've only spent $6,000 so far, so.
That's the one that I identified where we are paying the cap stipends from that line item, and they are not being charged to that line item. I think it's because they are, it's taxable income. I think the way that payroll processes it, it should be associated with that line, but it's not coming from that line.
Okay.
Is that, are you nodding your head or?
Yes, that is correct. It's taxable income, so we're running it through payroll to charge the appropriate payroll taxes on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so it goes to your payroll.
Well, it goes through the county payroll, but the individuals in my office.
It's expense to your payroll expense.
Yes, it should be included in his 51000 regular pay line.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm glad to see you're fully staffed.
Yes.
How's it, is the digitizing of all this information a good thing in the long run?
We love digital evidence. I mean, it's very easy to use. So when a case comes in and we collect the evidence from the police agency, it may involve body cameras, it may be a surveillance video, it might be Ring doorbell camera, it's photographs, it's audio recordings, it's paper. We put it all in the cloud and we send the defense attorney a link to that information in the cloud, and then they can access it remotely. And that's the way that we provide documentation. It's very much seamless. It's efficient. We can do it at midnight. I do it on the weekend. I send out, as soon as it comes in, it lets us add evidence to that portal and continue to meet our discovery obligations. So it's excellent. And we've been doing it through the free program. We pay for storage. And that's per terabyte we pay for storage. We will not have to pay for storage to Axon once we switch over to the new software that comes, it's free unlimited storage, so that will be a savings. It wouldn't offset the total costs, but like I said, we're kind of over a barrel. We have to do this or else we're going to lose our ability to provide the body camera footage. So it's our obligation to provide that.
Okay, this isn't necessarily a budget question, but on the radio recently there was discussion about people under 18 and it's difficult to house them at the corrections facility. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, is there a solution here, or, I mean, what are your thoughts as a DA?
Well, I think it's it's one of those legislation, some legislation that was well intended and but didn't have the practical planning as far as implementation. It's very rare that Tompkins County has the need for housing a 17 or a 16-year-old in a specialized secure detention bed. When we do, they have to go to Syracuse if we're lucky. Rochester, we've sent kids to Long Island, which it's crazy. You know, it generates overtime for deputies, officers to have to drive down there. It prevents the attorneys and family from being able to communicate with that person. That should only be for violent cases that are like the 1.1%. But the whole system, if a 17-year-old is charged with a felony, they have to come into criminal court. They get fingerprinted, they get photographed, that we have to jump through hoops to bring them into court. And there is case law that says that of those kids, out of 1,000 cases, 999 should automatically go to family court. And that's in my experience, because I handle all of them personally, I was a law guardian. I represented kids for 20 years before I took the job as DA. So I have the experience in a way that not everybody in my office does. So I want to take those cases, and I do. I think it should be more like 975. There are some cases where a kid has repeatedly done damage and caused significant problems, and the case law and the judges are not allowed to prevent that child from going to family court. And that's not a bad thing overall. They should be going to family court. Every piece of research says that, you know, a child's brain is developing until they're in their early 20s, and they make bad decisions and things like that that we should respect. But it creates this problem where if we do have to hold kids, the sheriff's office sat with 3 kids for a week or more and with no place to put them. That's not okay. There has to be some middle ground where we can put them somewhere safe, keep them away from a jail population of adults, but still have a way to hold them pending court proceedings that is not as hard to find as it is now.
A couple days ago.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Sean is next.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for getting the grant for the victim advocate. I know that we had heard about that whenever our community from Caroline came and talked to us about that situation. And I think the week after I gave Matt a call, and he was like, I'm already on it. You know, we're going to apply for it and hopefully get these funds, and it happened. So I think that's a really important position. Especially knowing that in the past, I believe the Advocacy Center has really struggled over the past few years. And so to have someone steady in your office that you can refer to, I think is going to be really helpful for our community. So thank you.
Thanks. We work very closely with the Advocacy Center. They specialize in domestic violence and child abuse victims, and so we'll complement them, but we won't replace them.
Other questions for Matt? Ann Corman.
So asking another question about the victim advocate position in the grant. That's a 1-year allocation for the grant, right?
Well, the grant is for 3 years.
Oh, 3 years,
So,
okay.
and $72,000 a year for 3 years. So I would imagine that I've worked with HR to classify the position, to create a job description that can be posted hopefully soon, so we can have somebody ready to go. I would imagine that salary will go up every year, as all the county salaries do. So it might be that the county's share of that increases a little bit, the 3% or 2% that the county salaries go up, just to be transparent. But it is a 3-year grant.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Matt, thank you very much. Great presentation, and it enlightened us a lot.
Thank you.
And pretty succinct for a lawyer.
If I could solve a problem in no words, I like to be that attorney. So, but thank you, everybody.
This is a new one.
What else?
Hopefully we're done.
We're done. You don't have to come back tomorrow night. We're going to be meeting again on the 15th of September, and we'll take up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 departments and agencies, and hopefully we'll have interest to think about. Thank you all. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Rob, up in the control room. From the county administration, we appreciate it.